A very good morning, team. Hope you had a fantastic day yesterday. Today we can see that euro dollar pushed up further in towards the upside. So what we're looking for is after this 4-hour BOS, because we can clearly see higher high, and now a higher high. So we've continued the overall trend in towards the upside. Never really made a nice pullback in towards, for example, this area of demand, but there was a lot of momentum in towards the highs. Now that we've seen that 4-hour BOS, what do you expect? You expect a pullback in towards the downside. At the moment, I'm not really interested in any longs. What I would preferably want to see is a pullback in towards this area of demand, so demand zone number 1 or even demand zone number 2 for now as my main targets. So I'm mainly looking for shorts back in towards the downside after grabbing the liquidity above the highs. So looking for that further downside movement. What I would preferably like to see is maybe a push in towards the highs over here. Today we have some ECB news, so keep that in mind. We can see a lot of liquidity or a lot of big movements within the market today. So preferably what I would like to see is one more push up, push in towards the highs, close above this high, facilitate a change of character, and then see that downside push once again in towards the lower range of this overall price action that we're currently seeing. So that's what I'm looking for on euro dollar. For the rest, nothing really interesting, just keeping your eyes popped open for the 15-minute time frame and to see if we can get any shorts potentially. So this morning what you pretty much have seen is that we saw a change of character over here within the highs. Boom. So again, change of character, this becomes your area of supply. We tap in, we move back down again. Continuation in towards the downside. So for today, looking for that further downside continuation move, but there is still a lot of potential for us to move maybe slightly higher, grab liquidity resting above the high, move in towards that daily and 4-hour supply zone, and then, for example, sell off in towards the downside. Now, going in towards the dollar index, the dollar index has been moving down lower, as I mentioned at the beginning of this week. You can watch back the other videos. For now, just waiting and looking to see how we are going to be moving very, very soon. Preferably, we see an upside correction from this area. Overall, we've now seen a 4-hour BOS. This was the 4-hour BOS line, meaning this is now your swing high, and somewhere over here we expect a swing low to be formed. After a 4-hour BOS, what you expect? You expect a pullback in towards the upside. How can we identify the pullback? Well, that is when we tap in towards an area of demand or when we see a change of character. So for now, this is your respected high over here. If the high goes, look for longs. As long as that high has not been broken, we expect to move further in towards the downside, in towards this area of demand. Then we expect that change of character to happen and to see a pullback back in towards the upside. So that's what I'm looking for on the dollar index. Now moving on in towards Aussie dollar. So on Aussie dollar, we've seen a very strong push in towards the upside, stronger than I expected personally, but overall it does make sense if we look at market structure, because market structure is bullish. Swing low, swing high, we pull back in towards the downside, corrective price action, boom, push in towards the highs. Preferably I would like to take along from this area, but it is what it is. Now, for the rest, what do we expect? We expect, obviously, to see some bearish reaction from this area of supply. For now, let's see. It looks like we're going to be closing above this high very, very soon. Maybe look for a short once we take out that high back. Oh, that's not supposed to happen, in towards the downside. Overall, still a lot of liquidity resting above this area of consolidation. So let's say we do see kind of like a close above it. For now, like, you can still look for a long and just continue the overall trend. But let's see, I want to be looking for shorts from these areas within the market back in towards the downside. That's my main shorting region from where I want to look for shorts. For now, if we close above, just look for that upside continuation overall on Aussie dollar. Now going in towards pound dollar. Pound dollar a little different, looking for shorts. Overall here on pound dollar, we are bearish. Swing high over here, swing low over here. We've now kind of like completed this entire pullback in towards the upside. We're now within, let's say, this overall ascending channel over here, and we're at the upper range of the descending channel. So now looking for a reaction after we've tapped in towards this supply zone as well. So looking for further downside from this pair. Overall, what you'll also see on the 15-minute time frame is this ascending correction over here. Very, very clear. So overall, I am looking for a correction in towards the downside. So for now, let's see what happens this morning. Overall, there is still a lot of room for it to drop, especially on the higher time frame. But on the 15-minute time frame, this is your premium versus discount. So we've already tapped in towards discount, I can see over here. So I mean, price is still a little bit consolidative for this morning. Overall, we're stalling inside of this area of demand over here, this boom, boom. So this is your area of demand where we're stalling inside. Now going back in towards the 4 hour real quick, what I'm going to be looking for is for a, is for a close or a wick, excuse me, below this 4 hour low over here. That's your change of character low. Then look for further downside, or maybe one more push up, grabbing the liquidity. Overall on the 15-minute time frame, not the 150-minute, but on the 50-minute time frame, preferably you could look potentially for a short. If we start breaking the low over here, then look for that further downside push. That is a little bit on the aggressive side of things, but it can definitely play out. So keep that in mind. Or if you want to be even more aggressive, just wait for this low over here to go, which is your change of character low, and start looking to grabbing the liquidity at least underneath this low over here. The reason why I'm going to be pretty aggressive with shorts is due to the fact that we're inside 4 hour supply and also in the extreme of the overall 4 hour swing range, which is bearish. Now moving on in towards NZDUSD. NZDUSD over here, looking for us to enter this supply zone from where I want to look for a short. So at the moment, looking for a short from this area of supply back down lower. Why? Overall the daily is still bearish, so looking to trade the daily in towards the downside. 4 hour, however, is still bullish, so hence why we've kind of seen the correction back in towards the upside. For now, I mean, overall the 4 hour might be bullish, but the overall price action is still consolidative, so we're now in the upper side of the overall swing range. And if we then draw in a range trading tool, what you'll see is that we are simply rejecting the 75% mark over here, and I'm looking for a short from that region. Stacked up with supply, we can definitely see a downside reaction, even if it's just a correction in towards this area of demand before continuing up higher. Now going in towards, and if you guys want to enter, you know what to look for overall. Just look for a shift on the 15-minute time frame, for example, a break of this low. Now moving in towards our last pair, which is gold. Gold over here on the 4 hour time frame has broken the all-time high once again. Always when you're in these kind of situations where you have an all-time high, I tend to keep my hands off it because there's nothing or nowhere to trade towards. So I mean, gold, best to leave it for what it is. Just trade from areas of supply and demand in general. As we can see, I mean, we're just following the overall demand chain. Like over here we had demand, so just kind of try and follow these areas of demand, and once we start breaking structures, then look for downside based on the overall supply zones. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and see you soon.